So apparently, someone got himself a motorcycle.
Yeah. Someone did.
Oh, geez.
I did. I am very excited.
Yeah. Well, you won't be able to ride it for a bit, though.
No, but I knew that going in.
Such is life. Anyway, this is Pony 4-on-1. Yes, Pony 4-on-1, not about motorcycles, all about ponies, actually.
What if we combined them?
No, we already did ponies on motorcycles, not again. Not again.
Yes, again.
Anyway, this is episode 164 for the week of November 20th, 2016. The world has changed.
Or it's potentially about to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little more scarier than it was last time we were talking, but we can persevere. But anyway, this is also Thanksgiving week for the U.S. listeners.
Yes.
Hope you have fun with that and things don't get too crazy at your family gatherings.
Yeah.
Be prepared to stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to ignore the troubles of that because we're going to talk about pony stuff because pony stuff is at least mostly not bad.
Mostly not bad. Wow. That's just wonderfully descriptive.
Yeah. So we got our usual news. We got a bit of a character discussion. We got a comic review, and we got a bit of fan content at the end of all this stuff. So we probably should go ahead and just get started. If you want to follow along with some dead news, go to pony411.libsyn.com/shownotes. It's spelled Libsyn. So we'll start off with some convention stuff. Pacific PonyCon has announced Kelly Sheridan and Sarah Richer will be attending. They've also announced the community guests Fireteam Harmony, Blue, and Shell Beanie, and they've announced Habitat for Humanity for their charity auction. Quite a bit in the last few weeks.
Yep.
Equestria LA has changed their convention date to November 17th through 19th in 2017. They cite that apparently the hotel's going through mandatory renovations.
That's always fun.
But it's beneficial for them because now they're no longer fighting the official convention. Good for them.
Yep.
And PonyCon has announced Fluffy Mixer, the Fluffy. Flufflepuff.
Flufflepuff.
How about that? And in fandom news and whatnot, the admin of the North Carolina Bronies was mugged, and there's a GoFundMe to pay his hospital bills.
That sucks.
Yeah. Playing Pokemon Go.
Yep.
Well, anyway, hopefully gets the money he needs.
Yes.
And the Brony Thank You Fund is hosting an event with Lauren Faust next April. Proceeds will go to the Derpy Who Scholarship for Character Animation.
Yeah.
It's a big event. Cool. It's like an hour long. Oh, is it 90 minutes or something where she's going to be interviewed, and there'll also be time for people there to ask questions and whatnot.
Yep. And I think it'll be at the university that she studied at.
It's in LA.
Yeah.
And it's $100 per ticket. The Brony Study Group has released results from their September survey.
Ah, yes.
You can check those out if you want. The Moon Rises has released.
Yes, that animatic.
Very interesting animation.
Yes.
It's not an animatic, it's a full-blown animation.
It's a full animation now. It had been animatic, but now it's out. It's full. It's done.
Animations tend to start as animatics.
Yep.
I should start as an idea, then storyboards, then.
Yes.
But anyway, it was actually pretty interesting.
It's very well done.
Very pretty, too.
Yep.
Pony mod for Stellaris is out. Pony Space Sim, I guess, now. Ponies in space.
Ponies in space.
And the game Battle Gem Ponies will have a small delay, but the current demo got a few bug fixes.
Nice.
Yes, small delay, mostly as the creator has some other stuff, and, well, Pokemon's releasing.
Yeah.
So that's that, I guess.
You don't want to try and release at the same time as Pokemon.
No, because the creator wants to play Pokemon.
That too.
And two different projects looking to continue where Fighting's Magic was halted, Mega and Supremium, are currently ongoing, with one of them aiming for a December 15th release.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Trying to pick up a C&D project. That's a bit interesting.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Good luck.
One of them's trying to rebalance for tournament play and whatnot. And they both added Trixie. Well.
All right, then.
I think one of them is also turned Twilight into Princess Twilight. Anyway, merchandise news. The action figure brushables and reboot packaging have appeared on Taobao. Other reboot series brushables have also appeared on shelves, but in Singapore.
Singapore gets a lot of stuff early.
That's just how it works. They're close to China, or Vietnam, where it's manufactured, so it's now manufactured in Vietnam mostly. A Guardians of Harmony's fan series Chrysalis has appeared in physical ThinkGeek store. No warning, no pre-order, it just was on shelves one day. And it's also now appearing in GameStops. Well, how about that? It just showed up.
That?
Just, it's like, like Chrysalis, or, Chrysalis and the Changes have a tendency to just kind of show up. Surprise!
Surprise! It's like the Sega Saturn.
So I'll have to check that out. See if the local GameStops have them.
Showing up in game stores, not announced, like the Sega Saturn.
It's out now, what?
Wait, what?
This is not, $300 or whatever that was.
Ugh.
At least I hope it's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rainbow Dash and Twilight Sparkle plush banks have appeared at Walmart.
And they don't have the right eyes.
Oh,
neither of them
darn.
do. I think they both have blue eyes. It's like, really?
I guess they blew it.
That was horrible. That was just... not even funny. That's just horrible. That was bad.
But the reaction was funny. And that's what matters. Anyway, you want Christmas ornaments? Well, new and returning ones are appearing in various stores.
Yes. You
So
get ponies on your
ponies.
tree.
Also, I can get a Grimlock.
That's not a pony.
Yeah, well, it's a G1 Grimlock. It's
Still not a pony.
It's a robot dinosaur, though.
Dinosaur, not a pony.
But it's a robot dinosaur. Which is like a dragon, but better.
But you don't like Spike.
What I'm saying is replace Spike with Grimlock and everything's better. You can't deny this.
It would be different, I would say. Different is not always better.
Yeah, just look at Starlight. Oh, wait, we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. Save
Anyway.
it for the discussion.
And anyway, new Princess Beanie Baby plushies have appeared at Barnes & Noble.
Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, they're slightly larger than the other Beanie Baby plushies.
I would expect to find a Twilight there.
I don't know, the picture that Equestria Daily has is Cadence, Celestia, and Luna.
But no Twilight. Did she get lost in the books?
Probably.
This is Barnes & Noble.
But we already got Twilight Beanie Babies. Anyway, another one of the Equestria Girls mini shorts have been released. It's a pillow fight. Okay. In comic news, a preview for Friends Forever number 34 has appeared on iTunes, along with an extended preview on Equestria Daily. That's Pinky and Cheese.
Cheese sandwich.
Mm-hmm. And I guess in Frenchman's Magic news, sort of, kind of.
Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, this one. The first one, Lady Talkars won the UBCP/Actor Award for Best Voice for his role in Pronto in Slug Terra. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lee Talkar, he's done MLP stuff like we said. I'm pretty much everyone who's nominated did MLP stuff at some point.
Yep.
Or currently.
All the nominations for voice actors were...
So, but anyway, Lee Talkar won.
Yeah.
Discovery Family will be having a pony-themed New Year celebration. Going in direct competition with Sci-Fi's Twilight Zone competition. Or airing.
Yeah.
Because that's always the New Year's Eve. It's just been, oh, hey, there's Twilight Zone. Gotta watch that. Anyway, a new Shout Factor DVD called Exploring the Crystal Empire is coming in February. It will have the Cutie Remark, the Crystalling, and the Times They Are Changeling. One of those has almost nothing to do with the Crystal Empire.
You're right.
Except for a brief alternate universe thing. Well then, I think, possibly, maybe the Crystal Empire or would have been a good choice, or Equestria Games, or,
A number of other things.
any of the episodes that took place in the Crystal Empire, but
No.
what do I know? And in our final piece of news, yes, we're actually already almost done.
Wow.
It's been confirmed that the movie will be animated in Toon Boom Harmony, which we knew kind of, but wasn't really official yet.
Yes, it's official. Interesting point of note.
Yes,
That
Moonrise is also done
Moonrises,
that.
yeah, was also done in Harmony. Also, I like this called Harmony.
Yeah,
And now
that's
they're doing
very
this.
fitting.
It's like, ha.
So anyway, that is all the news.
News.
It's done.
It is. It's over.
Yes. So we have a couple discussion points. Like I said, comic. Friendship is Magic, number 48. For one thing, I'm going to say right now, the cover, I like the cover a lot. Muppets.
Ah, yes.
I got the Muppets cover.
I believe I have the same one.
Because I like it. Yes, Pinky's, Fozzie. Makes sense. Dash is animal. Yes, yes, perfect. Although it's interesting, since Twilight is Kermit and Rarity is Piggy. No comment.
No comment. But
Anyway.
you want to comment?
Anyway, this is written by Ted Anderson and Andy Price. Let's see. Starts off with the main six and various other pony villains.
Villains?
Yes. Going to see, star stuff. Stuff in the stars.
Star stuff.
Yep.
Like Carl Sagan says.
Mm-hmm. Billions and billions.
We're made of star stuff.
An astronomical event. Anyway, they see stuff. It's really cool. Discord wants to join in, but they're kind of grousey about it. Stuff happens, and then apparently Discord's no longer himself because apparently there's an egg thing, and then it turns into a Discord who's very unchaotic.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah, so they start calling him Accord. And then things start going wrong from there. I'll leave it at that. I'm not very fond of this, though. I'll say that. Number one, it kind of blatantly contradicts the show. Although the thing it contradicts isn't the greatest thing. It's kind of funny how it contradicts the show. We have a very particular character trying to stand against something which she herself egregiously chose to do.
And not in the way...
not in the way they bring up in the comic.
Yeah.
In fact, the comic also kind of makes a false equivalence, in a sense. It's similar, but not quite the same.
Yeah.
In which way, it's kind of funny because of that.
It is a bit odd.
Which, this comic, from the get-go, is distinctly non-canon.
Yeah.
Because it blatantly contradicts the show.
It does.
This is very much an issue which illustrates why the comic people and the show people actually need to communicate. This is like prime example of why that needs to happen. Because we got a comic writer had no idea what was happening in the show, and then when an episode airs after this was written, it's kind of like, oh well.
Yeah. And it's not, I don't think it's the writer's fault either.
Yeah. The problem for me, though, is also this seems to be, it's going to be pushing, if I remember the synopses from upcoming issues, is going to be pushing in a direction which is going to annoy me. So I do not have high hopes, and based off what this is going, I would say no, skip it.
I'm still withholding full judgment because it's a multi-arc.
Well, in which way, based on where the arc is going, I'm not going to be thrilled. I would, if it wasn't for this podcast, I'd be skipping these.
I'd probably still get them just because, but yeah, other than one particular character, how other things are going, I don't know. Like I said, I'm withholding judgment.
Interesting stuff, but art's nice at least. And
Yeah.
Price does a good job again, but I'm just concerned. I'm not really pleased with where the comic seems to be going. And what really annoys me, I think, is just because it's going to culminate in their 50th issue.
Oh,
Hey, we're going to hit this big milestone and ruin it.
I'm again. Oh, this is 48, isn't it?
Yep. It's going to be
So
a
next
3-part
one's-
issue.
Well, next one's 49.
Mm-hmm. It's a 3-parter.
Oh boy, it's a 3-part.
I'm not thrilled. So I personally would not be. I'm going to see what the other next two are going to be like, but do not have my hopes high.
I'm withholding judgment.
So very useful review there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a nothing review. Also, we can't really say certain things without spoiling it.
Yeah, the thing that I have the biggest issue with is a big spoiler. So I'm just going to say I don't like it. So that's the end of that review thing.
Ish. We would have reviewed something else,
Alas.
but I forgot it.
Gotta put your money where your mouth is.
Ha, put your money.
Wonder what it was. Oh well, we'll never know now. But we have something else. We teased it a bit last time, 2 weeks ago.
You did.
Yes. More or less kind of a continuation of sorts of our Season 6 discussion.
A bit, and stuff that we've poked at throughout the past few episodes.
It's
Throughout the season, really.
I guess we kind of touched on this sort of thing. We did this before with Spike. We were just kind of in an episode where we just talked about a singular character. And we were planning on doing more, but we never got around to it. So I guess we're returning to, and we're going to focus on, I think you probably figured out by now, Starlight Glimmer.
character you really do not like.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sold on.
You're not thrilled with her either.
I'm not thrilled, but again, I usually
You don't have the deep hatred I do.
I usually reserve any sort of deep hatred.
Well, the thing is, as it's been known since the season 5 finale, I have not been a fan of her.
You have not. Most definitely you have not.
And if you remember, though, before that season 5 premiere, I was ecstatic. I liked her a lot.
You did.
But the season 5 finale for me ruined it.
You
And
liked
you
her
were
as a
all like,
villain.
you were much more mellow on it. You weren't exactly on fire, but you're like, eh. And then as the season went on, you kind of I noticed you progressively got more and more down on her as the season went on, versus me, who was just all like, no, no, no. And then towards the end of the season, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to talk about her overall, what we think went wrong, what could have been done better, and I guess possibly what went right.
Let's see if this doesn't turn into a you say things and I try and keep you back.
No.
Try and rein you in.
But I think to start off, I want to talk about overall in the end, the final opinion of her as of season 6's end. Or our opinion of her overall. I think because I'm going to go longer about this, I probably should let you go ahead and start off.
You want me to start? Starlight Glimmer. Overall,
opinion.
what I think about her through this season, wasted potential. I think is about how I could sum it up. They could have done a lot better with the character, in my opinion. There was potential for a new, interesting, intriguing character. I know a lot of people, including you, wanted Sunset and feel like this is a, someone in place of Sunset, because you're not going to get Sunset. And then they also they kind of copied Twilight, and that kind of ruined things a bit there. I still think that they could have pulled things together, but I don't think they did it very well. That's usually how that's pretty much what I feel there. Is it's not all bad, but there's so much that they could have done more, and so much that they could have done, in my opinion, better, that it feels like wasted potential.
Yeah.
And for me, potential is a really big thing. I really like, I give people props for potential a lot more than, I judge on execution as well. But if you start out and you start with some sort of potential base where you could grow, I do like to give people props for that, because they didn't just throw just like crap all around. It's like, no, you had something there. It just could have been executed better. So I still want to give people props for that. And that's just the way it really feels for me. Mm-hmm. I'm not also as sold on certain characters as you are. I'm sold on other characters, so it's not as much of, I guess I don't have a lot of it feels like a slight, because I think that's a lot of it, the Diet Twilight, or it's Sunset that is not Sunset. I guess for some it might feel like it's a slight against them, because it's like, I wanted this, and it feels like you gave me something else in place of that. Like, oh, you want this? Well, here, have this instead. And I could see how that would be a slight. For me, I don't have that. I don't feel like I was slighted against. So it's not, I guess that's one of the reasons I'm not as against her as some others, including you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's usually how I feel it. And it's a tough one, because I don't want to say they did it. A lot of things that I didn't like, I can't really say that they did things objectively wrong. I know a lot of people do like Starlight, and they're not wrong to like Starlight. I do think in some cases there is some things that they definitely did wrong, but overall, I personally think I would have liked to see it a little better.
Right. I think the way for me I'd sum it up is she was ultimately pointless. She didn't really do what she could have done, what she should have done as a character. She didn't really do that.
Which is sort of the wasted potential. It's like, you could have had this.
But the thing is ultimately pointless, because she didn't really add anything. And she actually, even in my opinion, actively harmed the show.
In one particular episode, if you remember us with a major rant on, I do think was a major direct negative, where she did do harm.
Yeah.
I don't think it was intentional.
No,
I don't think that was the way they intended to have it go.
The thing was, I said this, I think I said something along the lines of the season 5, when we were talking about the premiere, what was that one called now? The Cutie Map, back in season 5. I said I find this show very interesting, and she has a lot of potential. I want to see where they take her.
And it didn't go
then,
well.
And then like the last bit of season 5 finale, the Cutie Remark, it just completely for me fell apart. It just everything right there, everything just fell apart. Everything gone. And then okay, fine. Let's see how they go do things in season 6. First appearance. They didn't really sell me. They didn't do much worse, but didn't sell me on her. It's just like she's kind of there. Then again, it's like it's still not working. In fact, now it's like, okay, why are we seeing Twilight again? Why, if we're gonna have Twilight, why don't we just have Twilight? And then they had an episode. Oh, hey, here she is, actually enjoyable, but she's not her. She's a character. And then we have every little thing she does, and everything goes to hell.
Yeah,
and then the finale kind of didn't really help either.
I think it started to. I think it had a few points in it that started to, but again, didn't do enough.
And I think with that, it's just, for me, it just felt like they're trying to throw things at her as a character and trying to see, it almost feels sometimes like they didn't really know what to do with her at times. It's like they're starting to throw things like, will this work? This work? Maybe. Like, okay, well, leadership. This leadership thing that's just popped up out of nowhere. It's like, no real build-up. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, I think we mentioned a little bit during that episode on the leadership thing that could have been a good thing for her if they had introduced it sooner or more closely, like right after, the events of the finale or whatnot. If that came up quicker, it would have been more, it would have worked better. And I think if they could have built on that more, that would have worked.
Also for me, because the fact her character as most of the season borrowed so heavily on Twilight, and even a little bit from Sunset, I'm going to be honest. It's kind of a weird mix. They basically took a lot of Twilight, added a little bit of Sunset, added a dash of sociopathic tendencies, and we got Starlight Glimmer. And it makes it basically, they took Twilight and somehow made it worse.
Careful with how you phrase that.
I know, that's what I'm trying to phrase.
It almost makes it sound like Twilight couldn't be any worse.
It's like they're taking Twilight and somehow took something amazing and somehow made it bad. And it's hard to explain, but I think for me, is the character, like, throughout the show, this whole show is a vehicle to sell toys. It's always been that way, no matter what. But the thing is, throughout the show, even as most blatant product placement, the characters have always felt kind of genuine.
Yeah, from
even though the characters themselves are selling toys.
Yeah, but the characterizations, the
personalities,
always
been genuine. The thing with Starlight, it feels to me it doesn't feel genuine. It feels very hollow and more market driven than the actual main characters have felt.
I'm not entirely certain on the market driven part.
I'm talking about like we have to have a character here, to sell the new toy.
Well, one of the things is that I don't actually recall seeing that many Starlight toys.
And that's the weird thing. There's Starlight toys.
There are, but they're not as heavily
and that's the
marketed.
Weird part. But anyway, it feels like her characterization doesn't feel genuine. It feels very hollow. It doesn't feel real, if that makes sense. It almost kind of feels a little cynical. It's like, because let's just take Twilight and do it again. And this is condensed Twilight's character arc for the first 3 seasons and condense it down to 7 or so episodes, and we get Starlight.
They could have condensed the first couple episodes into a single movie, but they already did that. It's called Equestria Girls.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's also one thing, and I think it ties into the feeling slighted. And it's kind of interesting that I'm the one bringing it up. I don't know, maybe you just haven't got around to it yet. And I think we've mentioned a couple times the whole Diet Twilight part. Yeah. It almost feels at some points like, especially with how Twilight has been characterized through this past season, in relation to Starlight, it almost feels like, and I don't think this is actually the way it is, but it sometimes feels like she's starting to replace her.
Yeah.
Like Twilight,
it really does.
Twilight sometimes starts to get pushed off into basically the Celestia.
Yeah.
Twilight has become Celestia and this background mentor character that we see every now and then to guide the main 6, which now has Starlight instead of Twilight.
And that's the other thing that rubs me the wrong way is they acquire coincidence. Starlight's not a main character. You don't devote 7 episodes to someone who's not a main character. We've talked about that multiple times now, but
yeah.
The other thing is,
yeah.
with that, it's like a natural evolution for Twilight as a character to become a teacher. That was pretty clearly what they were going towards. They alluded to it in like season 4 with Twilight Time. That Twilight's becoming a teacher. She's gone from student to teacher, and that's kind of a natural character evolution for her. It makes sense. So now they have a thing of, okay, who's going to be the student? And it almost felt like with Rainbow Rocks, Megan McCarthy was setting up for Sunset to be the student. And then in Friendship Games, Haber takes over and backpedals on that, and then swaps in Starlight. And that's that.
Yeah, I don't know how that one goes. I don't know how much connection there is between Equestria Girls and the show.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Rainbow Rocks, it very clearly kind of makes it so Sunset's going to be the student, and then Friendship Game kind of, we're going to change out. Now Sunset's more independent of Twilight, and now Twilight's got Starlight over here.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that is actually, writers, on how much of that is,
and also
we can't actually connect the two directly like that, so we have to keep the characters separate. It's like I've been telling you a couple times, no, you can't have Sunset because Sunset has to stay in
No,
Equestria
she doesn't.
Girls. Because that character is important to the Equestria Girls movies now. She can't come and stay in Equestria.
Well, she doesn't have to.
I don't know how much. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes between the connections between the movie series Equestria Girls.
Well, that doesn't say. You saying we can't have Sunset, but we can. She can visit. That's the point.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's anything else that goes on in there. I'm not part of the.
Well, that's
what's going on in the boardrooms. Yeah, and stuff
any which way. At this point, I think the only thing is, and the problem is also they keep teasing that she might happen. At this point, it's like if you're not going to do it, just say you're not going to do it. Better than
also don't want
dragging
to
us
lock
along.
Into something. It's one of those they can't commit to anything either direction, because if they commit to something, it doesn't matter what they say. Someone's going to get pissed off.
It's weird because the thing is the other things are more willing that we have no plans for that. But with Sunset, they keep saying maybe. So it either the plans come up and they fail, or something happens. It almost feels like it was going to happen at one point, and then it got backtracked because of something or another, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that happens,
but
in the studios and stuff like that we don't ever get to see.
Starlight specifically, it's just particularly with every little thing she does. We're getting back on that one. It just, I feel like that is one episode in particular that really wrecked the character. If it wasn't for that episode, I probably wouldn't be so angry about her. That's the one episode. Everything else is like, whatever. It's just kind of like, she's not the greatest, but she's not really ruining anything. But that episode is just like, ugh. And I'm trying to think of, that is the one particular episode, like, I'm trying to think of what could they have done instead of that?
Or what could they have done during that to make it not as bad? Because
for me, just the mind control thing is the big thing. It's like, I get they're trying to show she's kind of relapsing in a sense, but they don't, I think they went way too extreme.
With not enough, repercussions.
Yeah, that too. I think they could have done something, just even if it's just her just kind of barking out orders at her so-called friends. And so it's like, yeah, she doesn't really care about them or something like that. And she needs to kind of, hey, you need to listen, and you're not, this isn't your village. You can't just bark orders.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's still kind of like, hey, she's not exactly, she's still learning, but she's not awful. And I think that's what it is. It's just, if they did something, they could still have done that. Or the idea of just Starlight's showing that, hey, Starlight doesn't quite have the hang of this yet, without going to that extreme. And I think that's one of the big improvements they could have done right there. Just not so extreme. And that's my problem. Is like, you need to have negative character traits, especially for a reformed villain. But you can't go that extreme, and this, particularly with since he's not getting any sort of punishment or retribution compared to other villains who consistently get punishment or retribution. So that's the thing. It's especially since it's really frustrating that in the real world we have people who regularly get away with bad things and even get rewarded for bad things. It's kind of cathartic to see in fiction where it can be controlled, someone actually getting what they deserve for what they did.
Or not getting away with it.
Or at least very least not getting away with it. And so it's really frustrating, especially since if this show, like, all the villains got like some sort of forgiveness or whatever, it wouldn't be a big deal. But because other villains have gotten punished for what they did, it really stands out.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest one. It's not so much that, she did the mind control, although that was really not good. But I think what makes that so off-putting for me personally is the fact that it was, probably not intentionally, but the way it was set up is that it I'm trying to find the words on that one, but like, she didn't get punished. It basically was saying,
no, it's okay. It's not that big a deal.
It's actually not as bad as it looks. When
That's
it's like,
fine.
But it is.
It's really bad.
It is really bad. And if they had, if she had gotten repercussions that had shown, yes, what you did is really bad, and it wouldn't have been as bad of a thing for her to have done in the show, because it would have shown, no, this is like really, really bad, and she gets, repercussions equivalent to it. But she didn't. It was played off as not that big of an issue.
If she got like kind of forgiveness after only the village thing before anything else happened, if it was that, it wouldn't be as bad, because there you can kind of see that she kind of had good intentions with the village, even though her methods were all awful and everything. We see she had some good. It's like same with Gloriosa and Legend of Everfree. Yeah, she went crazy and stuff, but she had good intentions. She just got corrupted and went crazy.
Yeah.
And so that's why that's easier to swallow, because we see that she had good intentions. With this, the thing is, if it was just after the village, it'd be understandable. But after the village and messing with time, and then also supposedly being reformed, also going in and mentally enslaving her friends, it's like, really?
Yeah, and it's also that there was no mental struggle for her on doing it. She just, oh, okay, well, we'll just mind control them. And she had during that entire scene until at the very end, after everything came crashing down, she had no thoughts that it was wrong. Absolutely none. No concern.
Not even second guessing herself.
No, none. I mean, if there was even, at any point in time that she was starting to second guess, like, I screwed up here, and it would have helped it a little, but
that just reminded me of the other thing wrong. I haven't really touched on this so much at all during our entire season of stuff, but part of it is kind of factors into the whole she doesn't feel genuine as a character, because the main six, it's clear they're really good friends with each other. They have very good character dynamics between the six of them.
They've also had 5-6 years to develop that.
Well, even in season 1, it was still great dynamics. The thing is, with Starlight, she has almost no interaction with any of them except for Twilight and Spike. But other than that, she barely interacts with them. So it's like, it's hard to believe this idea that she's really good friends with them.
Yeah, you'd have to assume that they interact off scene.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, and that the kind of, that gets brought up in every little thing she does, is like she barely talks to them. And it's like, that's the weird thing though. It's just like, it doesn't feel genuine because she doesn't really interact with them at all. So it's like, how do they get this close if she barely talks to them? And so that's part of why it doesn't feel genuine. So because of that, she kind of doesn't have the natural chemistry that the rest do with each other.
And they could have actually used that.
Yeah, they
they could have had stories on, them not interacting well and trying to build that. We could have had episodes of Starlight.
They tried to kind of touch on that, but it fell apart.
Wasted potential. They could have done that. That could have been some pretty good episodes.
So it just feels like she was just shoved in, and not only that, the other part of the not genuine is just because half the time characters are talking about how great she is or how good she is now. Oh, she's reformed. It's cool. She's fine, and they just keep talking her up. And it's like, stop trying to sell the character to me. You're not a salesman. So I think that's part of it. Just because I see like a potential for a decent character arc for her that could have concluded in the finale, and just kind of we see this haphazard, like things are kind of barely stitched together, about ready to fall apart at a moment's notice. And that's what's most frustrating for me, is she had so much potential when we first saw her, just kind of completely undone, awful backstory, just lots of several episodes where she doesn't really do much of anything. And that's another thing. No Second Chances, I talked about this. I said the more you think about that episode, the messier it becomes. The problem is, like, okay, Starlight's kind of the main character of this one. Okay, there was a lesson, but Starlight didn't really learn anything. She was right the whole time, which that kind of worked with that other episodes, it's kind of the joke with like Applejack, and I didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
But this one is like, there's supposed to be a lesson there, and it's like, wait, who learned the lesson? Was it Twilight, who was barely in this episode?
Yeah,
Starlight,
I think it was supposed to be Twilight that learned the lesson.
But that's the problem. It's like Twilight was barely in this. The more you think about it, it's like, that's the other thing, is just like leaning heavily on socially awkward, uses very reliant on magic. Wait. Yeah. Died Twilight. It comes back to that. It's just, I feel like, I'm trying to think of it, but I'm trying to think, they needed to characterize her. That was the other thing, is to really live up to her potential as a character, they needed to not be just a diet version of another character. She needed to be her own.
Unique.
And that's I think that's part of what fails, is that she needed to be a unique character. And the thing is, I'm struggling to think of what could be unique for her.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm not a writer, and I'm definitely not a creative. I don't have the same sort of creative abilities as some others do. So coming up with ideas like that isn't exactly my strong suit, but something that's always been a mainstay of this show since season 1 is that every single character has a unique and interesting personality and backstory and characterization. They're all real, unique individuals.
Yeah. So
copying another one, it just kind of, I don't know, it doesn't feel quite right.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like, oh, you could just kind of make her just angry or something, but no, we kind of already got all sort of Sunset with that, and a bit of Dash too.
Yeah. Like I sort of said, Sunset's kind of a combo of Twilight and Dash. Yeah,
Sunset's, but the weird thing is, Sunset's kind of her own unique character, even though she's similar to like Twilight. She's very similar to Twilight, and yet she's still her own unique thing.
Yeah, she takes.
But that's the thing. It could have made her somewhat similar to Twilight, but that's the thing. I was like, if it wasn't for how they set her up, they could have, I don't know, made her like a talented idiot. Lots of magic power, just not
I think that
smart.
was Sunburst.
I know. Well, Sunburst was
Sort
he
of.
doesn't actually have talent. He knows the material. He just doesn't. Which is funny enough, because they established in season 5, like, oh yeah, he was super powerful. Like, oh, he's super.
Yeah.
He's a prodigy. Oh wait, no, actually, he's not.
Retcon.
Ooh. Yeah, fun.
Sometimes necessary, but never something you just do.
Like, yeah, I think if they just kind of, with Starlight, it's just like, yeah, she's not actually that talented per se. She just knows this stuff really well. Then yeah, that kind of makes her a little more unique.
Actually, that reminds me.
Would have been.
Yeah, it's like,
except for Sunburst is there.
Like a certain section from a certain thing that we'll probably be talking about in an update at the end of the episode. certain line, she doesn't have the same raw power, but she's really good with the technique.
Yeah.
So she's able to use lesser power to better ability than others.
Yeah, it's just, I think, I'm trying to think personality-wise what could have been done that would have been just better without just kind of taking Twilight, cutting out the good bits and...
I don't know. Again, like we mentioned during every little thing she does, they brought in this, and it's really ugly, sociopathic tendency.
Yeah.
If they would have taken like a piece of that, just slight sociopathic tendencies that she catches and they work on, if they would have added that near the beginning of the season to her personality and have it be something that they actually work on with her, that would have been a deviation that would have worked, as long as they didn't do what they did and just, she's a sociopath and it's fine.
No, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah, just like have her show some sociopathic tendencies here and there,
or just
but
something.
Have people have ponies catch it. Have like Twilight or her friends catch it and confront her and have her work on that. Have it be one of her character flaws that's acknowledged and worked on, like they've done with a lot of the other characters.
Yeah. Although I prefer it would not be just straight up sociopathic tendencies.
That's why I said slight sociopathic
I think
tendencies.
It would
I think here and there she shows it and then catch it, and she begins throughout the season to recognize
I think it would have been better if they just had it so she just has a tendency to railroad her friends into doing what she wants regardless of their opinions.
Just a slight sociopathic
so basically
tendency.
less extreme version of mine, more or less just not, we're going to do it my way. Don't care what you think, we're doing it this way. And she just kind of moves forward without thinking about them. I think that would have been a little bit better than straight up, oh, I'm going to mind control them.
Yeah.
I think that would have been, it's still a negative character trait, but it doesn't feel like a negative character trait so negative that it's like, it's hard to buy her as a protagonist.
Yeah.
which is what this is.
She works really, really well as a villain.
Yeah, exactly. You said actually, I kind of wish
we said it a few times.
I wish she just stayed a villain, honestly. Even if she just kind of came back every once in a while, just kind of harassing them. It's like, go away, Starlight.
Like a better Trixie.
Yeah, better Trixie. And that's the other thing is like, Trixie.
It's kind of interesting that Trixie and Starlight are now friends.
That's the other thing of Starlight. It's not genuine. Feels things are not genuine to me just because Trixie's like, Trixie's whole villain thing was not really her. She was corrupted. It kind of implied again that she wasn't really intending to be a villain per se. She just wanted to humiliate Twilight because she felt humiliated by Twilight.
Yeah, Trixie's an interesting character on that one.
Because she's not. Well, she just didn't start doing the really bad stuff till she was corrupted by the Alicorn amulet. Versus Starlight, who voluntarily did these things of her own volition.
That's where we draw the line between villain and antagonist.
Yeah, so that's a weird thing. So them bonding over, I did terrible things in the past. It's like it doesn't feel that genuine because one of them wasn't totally at fault for what she didn't really actively choose to do those things. Or at least she didn't actively choose to do those things in a stable state of mind.
Yeah, she wasn't in her own mind when she did that. Stable. We're just going to throw horse puns in here where we
unintentionally too. Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that they could have done was better characterization. They kind of just bleh on that one. They just kind of they were scattershot with that one. It didn't feel like it was inconsistent at times. Times consistent, but consistent on the wrong things.
Yeah, it's interesting. It almost feels as if when they started writing her episodes that there wasn't a set listing in the character Bible, for example.
Yeah, remember they don't have one.
Yeah, it's like, really, if you're going to have a character that's going to be a mainstay,
you're going to have
she has a quarter of the episodes. She has as many episodes, she's a mainstay. That's just the way it is. Yeah. So if you're going to have a new character that's going to be a mainstay, you really should sit down with your writer and actually, at least...
Who is this character?
Figure out who it is before you start writing the episodes. I mean, like before season 1 started, Lauren had characterizations for all of the main characters.
Some of them are tweaked, of course, but...
Yeah, obviously they tweak them. That's the point. You can tweak them afterwards, but at least start with a grounding that everyone can be based on before you start writing your episodes.
Because M.A. Larson
and then build off of that as you go.
M.A. Larson did the season 5 premiere, and he was a story editor for most of season 5. I believe he left after halfway through, and I think Haber took over. I can't remember. I just know. I think Larson talked about he left halfway through the season, and someone else took over as editor. So it's almost like maybe Larson had a different idea for what to do with Glimmer, and then Haber came in and went and just completely threw out that all out the window and did his own thing.
Or he just didn't know.
Or you didn't know. He either didn't know or just any which way he did. I think it's kind of, I'm seeing that he's doing something different than what his other writers were trying to do. So he's kind of doing his own thing, and now we're seeing the results of this. Then because this weird inconsistency is going on.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say any one person's really at fault because I'm not gonna be that guy. Because there's some like I've said a few times, there's so much that goes on that we have no idea. Yeah. I can't say that anyone's done anything objectively wrong, and I know a lot of people do like Starlight, and that's fine. That's fine. Everyone's gonna have their own opinions. I have mine. You have yours, and you're not wrong for liking Starlight. I can't say you are. I know Nemesis over here will think you are, but I personally, I don't think you are, because it's a preference on whether you like a character or not, and there's nothing objective about any of that. It's just, I don't know. I feel disappointed in the character that we start out when, oh crap, they're adding a new character. We're always a bit worried when they start adding characters.
And we even said we wanted her to be a recurring guest, not a main character.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted, because we're always worried. Anytime you add a new main character,
and she straddles that line with leaning towards being a main character.
Yeah.
Because she, other than those 7 episodes, she was barely in it, but those episodes, she got that many episodes to herself, so I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah. But it's just, I wanted something different.
I think that's what it is. I
wanted.
I'm so disappointed. By disappointment, because of that character had started off so strong, I'm so disappointed. This made me angry.
Yeah, I guess because I wasn't. I try not to get attached to certain things. I don't know. I tend to write instead. I get attached to other things, but I don't try not to get my hopes up for good reasons, apparently. But yeah, I never usually hit the extremes on my opinions on anything. It's really tough to get me onto an extreme. So if you do, oh boy.
Yeah. So I think that's about it, because we could keep going, but
We could always keep going, but if we keep going, we're just going to continue to repeat ourselves.
Yeah, this is more or less going to be our end point for Starlight. At this point, we'll only be talking about her if we have to, as in
if something comes up,
for
and we start
example,
talking,
in
we'll try
upcoming
and call
comic
it.
issues or in a possible future episode. Oh, please, I'm hoping that's not the case.
Larson will not be back for season 7, so
I know.
if your Larson Haber theory is correct.
Well, Haber's not coming back either.
Oh. So who's taking Haber's place?
We don't know yet. The current I know the current theory is Vogel will be story editor, which doesn't wholly fill me with hope, because all but one episode is either Haber or Vogel when it came to Starlight. And the only one that was No Second Prances, which was Confalone.
Yeah, the interesting thing is Vogel's got some really good episodes under his belt.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but one of the ones was also Starlight, not really, well, being classic Starlight, not protagonist Starlight.
Yeah. Again, I would withhold judgment on those. There's nothing that I could say.
Well, we have no idea for sure who's going to be story editor, but I'm hoping, please, that they just kind of put Starlight on a bus.
Put her on
AKA
a bus.
Yeah, that's basically get her out of the show without actually actively killing her. Just, okay, she's gone now.
I doubt that'll happen.
You never know.
You
never know.
I don't know. But
Stuff
I don't know,
changes.
I just feel a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
I would like to. I want to like the character more.
I wanted
wanna
to like
all
her.
the characters. I don't like.
I mean, I never know. I mean, they turn things around for me with Trixie, but the thing is, for Starlight, though, she always will have every little thing she does hanging over her head. That will always be there.
What if they have an episode where they return to that?
If they come,
Or they
there's an
bring it up
episode
and
where they
they-
bring it up and they
And they
thrash her with it. Okay, cool. if they really hold that, but yeah, I know some people are like, well, you're supposed to be forgive. Yeah, you should forgive, but you shouldn't forget that easily, because I said that, that's what part of it was, just they just forgot about it so quickly.
Yeah, that's it's just like.
But
Yeah,
we need to wrap this up. So yeah, that's our Starlight thing. We should not be talking about her too much after this, at least until season 7 or comic stuff or whatever. We won't be going super in depth on her for a long time. So if you're sick of it, good. We're kind of getting sick of it too.
yeah, we're kind of yeah.
I just needed to get my last bit out.
Yeah, he needed to get it out of his system. So there you go.
So
And
that's that.
If somehow writers are listening to us, I doubt it. I
never know.
I don't.
You
blame,
never know.
I don't blame anyone. I'm not going to say anyone's objectively at fault here. Although I would like to know more of what goes on in the background. What
Everyone would. I'd love to see what goes on. I'd
why
love to be a fly on the wall, just sitting there while the writers' meeting
Yeah.
and stuff like, what's going on here? Why are they making these particular decisions? Like,
Yeah.
no one objected to this?
Yeah, the questions I would have for the writers wouldn't be, why did you do this? It would be, what was your thought process on the creation of this character? What were your intentions on the creation of this character? What led you to this? So I could get an understanding of the grounds and the backing
Right.
for why
Well,
they
anyway,
wrote it. And that
this
makes it
is running
better.
really long, so we need to move on.
But yeah, that's just what I have to say.
Yeah, that's what we need to move on. So, moving on, though, we got fan content, starting
Yes.
off with music.
Back to me. 2 weeks. I always find a lot of music. So I got three picks for this episode. The first one is 5 o'clock at the cafe on Monument Parkway by Ataraxia. This is a very mellow piano song. It's nice, it's slow, but it's not really sad either. It starts off really mellow and it starts picking up later in the end, but it doesn't really get sad either.
It's calm.
So, yeah, it's calm, and it does start to pick up at the end with a little bit more of a happy undertone to it. But yeah, it's good. I like it.
It's a nice piano piece. I really actually like the little background elements you hear throughout the song. This like silver
in the
clinking
the
together
very
and stuff
beginning,
like
you get this little bit off in the
that.
left channel, just sitting back there. It's almost like they used holophonic sound because it really sounds like it's sitting behind you off to the left. It sounds almost like crackling fire or crinkling paper or something.
Just those little things. I like those.
Yeah, it's really really good. The next one I have is Flight by Cubrut. It's a simple, fun, happy, upbeat song. Instrumental. It knows what it is, and it does it well, and doesn't do much else.
Yeah, I like the sound of the synth in this. It's a bit like an enhanced version of a 16-bit game soundtrack, most specifically Genesis game.
Ah, yes, Genesis.
Because Genesis had a very specific sound.
It did. All of the old consoles like that had a very specific
But that's what
sound.
it sounds like to me. It's just an enhanced version of that.
Yeah.
So it's actually really fun.
It is. And the last one I have is Stratosphere by Undreamed Panic. It's another fast, upbeat song. This one's got vocal clipping, but it's also got a really nice driving beat to it. So it's not as happy and almost calm undertones like Flight does. This one's a little bit more driving and upbeat. And I do like the vocal clippings and stuff like that.
Yeah. This song has a very triumphant sound.
Yes.
Like very enthusiastic celebration type stuff going on. Although the ending was felt very sudden. Like it just kind of, it's done.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Oh, okay. It just kind of like, it's like someone just stopped the car and then you slam your head into the dashboard. So other than that, is actually good. It was good. It's just I think the ending needs to be tweaked a little bit.
Yeah. Or put with other songs that pick up immediately.
Something like that.
Which could be the point.
Just the ending was just okay. We're done now.
Yeah, it could be the point where it stops abruptly because it's supposed to go into another song that picks up right after it. Maybe, I don't know. But it would work for that. Really good if you're looking for a DJ mixing.
Mm-hmm. So that's...
Those are the songs.
Music.
Go check them out.
I do not have new fanfic, because the last 2 weeks have been a thing.
A thing, yeah. That well sums it up.
But there is an update, perspective updated, wherein the sunset goes to a very starry place with Celestia and has a bit of a talk with her about things. And Twilight's kind of initially confused. And Alca7raz hears,
You are trash.
At least it's not Dash.
Hey now.
Hey, you attack, I volley. It's pretty clear things are starting to come to an end, I guess. Although I'm kind of curious what happened to the sirens, but that kind of seems to have gone away.
And it kind of disappeared, didn't it?
I hope that comes back.
Probably won't. We're just going to end and yeah.
That's kind of important, I think. But what do I know?
Sequel.
Oh, gosh. Oh, dear.
That's the sequel hook.
Yeah, epilogue. Oh, there's the sirens. Oh, yeah. But, yeah, things that clearly are kind of starting to come to an end. Well, they have been for the last few chapters, but this is really like, yeah, things happened. It's pretty obvious what happened if you watch the show.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's also spelled out right there in front of you.
It is spelled out right in front of you what's happening.
So, yes, that updated. But that is the end of our podcast show thing. So if you liked it and you wanted to listen to past or future episodes, which won't have Starlight stuff in it, I promise. Some of it doesn't have Starlight.
I'll keep him in. I'll keep him in check.
It won't happen. It probably won't happen again.
I'll reel him in.
But you can go to pony411.libsyn.com. Again, that's Libsym. Or you can search for us on iTunes, search for Pony411 and rate and review there. Or Google Play, search for Pony411. Or youtube.com/Pony411 and like, comment, and subscribe there. Or Stitcher, you can search again for Pony411 or on this website, iOS or Android apps. And there's also Ponyville Live, where the YouTube version will go as it goes up. And Ponyville FM every other Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Those are all the destinations that I'm aware of. Apparently, we have been relisted elsewhere.
Really?
Yeah, apparently a Spanish site.
Huh.
I was unaware of that until I kind of found us in a Google search. How about that?
How about that?
And if you want to contact us, though, you can do so via email, pony411podcast@gmail.com. Comments, criticisms, questions. Tell us why we're wrong about Starlight. Tell us why we're right about Starlight. Tell us why we're kind of right about her. Whatever. Or other things.
Or other things. It doesn't have to be Starlight.
Tell us about how awesome Twilight is.
Or Dash.
Or Sunset. Or the main six in general.
Yes.
Whatever. Tell us about anything. You could also contact us on Facebook.com/Pony411. You like us there. That's where also new episodes will go as they go up. And there's Twitter. We're at Pony411. This is where we usually do things. Although things have been a little quiet, kind of still reeling.
Yes.
And you can also contact our personal Twitters. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1, and he is at Alca7raz with a 77T and an underscore at the end. Motorcycles and Transformers.
Yes, motorcycles. And I'll probably be posting more pictures and stuff of
I've
my
gotten a lot of
motorcycle.
Transformers recently. Probably shouldn't have, but I did it anyway.
You buy lots of Transformers and they're expensive, but it's still not
Not
as
always
much as,
expensive.
Still doesn't beat what I did in one object.
Yeah, in one object.
And I still got a really good deal.
Yeah. But that is it for this episode. Tune in 2 weeks. It'll be December at that point.
Yes.
We'll be talking about future things in the Pony franchise.
The future. The ghost of Christmas future.
Yep, pretty much. So until then, though, please pony responsibly. Goodbye.
See ya.